Hey guys, it's VaulSC here. I hope that you are doing well. Just want to let everybody know that we're going to go into round 2 of the Interim Casual Brawl, the ICB. And of course, if you have added the spreadsheet to your bookmarks, you can go and check out the leaderboard right now. Still have a few people who weren't able to make it into the league that potentially we could put back into the league later on. But here is how Tier 1, the top group, is shaped up. That's the list there. Then of course down to Group 2 and Group 3. I do want to say that there are a few people who didn't complete their game. There was one matchup in Tier 2 between Tyrael and Maximum Derek, and then, of course, the bottom group here, Theron46, Malarkey, and Masquatch. Game's not completed yet. So what I've done is I've given everybody a 1 tournament point and 5 objective points. That is for the purposes of matchmaking, so that I can just roughly give you guys a different opponent. And then if you're still able to complete your game on the round 1 map and mission, I'll come back and edit the scoreboard and put in what you actually get from that game. Please do try and complete it though, because if you fall too far behind, we basically have to give you no points. In this specific case of Tier 3, I've simply swapped around the opponents. So I think that for round 1 Temper War, we had, for example, Theron playing Masquatch. That didn't happen. Malarkey versus 46 hasn't happened yet, so I've just basically swapped it around. So if you come over to the tab on the spreadsheet marked Round 2, the Armory, we will be playing the mission Armory for Round 2, and everybody's got a matchup now. So go and see who you are playing against and message that person and schedule a game. Game does need to happen before the 4th of September, please. But yeah, in Tier 3, we've basically got Theron versus Malarkey, 46 versus Masquatch, just swapping around the opponents of those guys who didn't really get their game done. Match results coming in thick and fast, so thanks everybody for playing your games. If we just jump into Tabletop Simulator right now, I'm gonna just quickly briefly talk about the map. So what you want to do to get the map is to, of course, subscribe to the VaulSC Competitive Infinity Maps Collection Workshop. And you can open that workshop and dig out the bag if you want to, or you can simply open up your workshop's window like this and click on the 3 dots and then click on expand, and that'll just open up all of the assets that are in there. You can bring out VaulSC's map collection on here like that. Just open it up. Then at the very top of the list, I'll move my face cam out of the way. At the very top of the list, you'll see the set ICB to the Armory, so just drag and drop that out here. And of course, when you're moving a map bag, just hold on to it. Just left click, hold down left click for a few seconds and drag it onto the scene. And it will populate with the map I've created. So I very rarely see this this mat with the white hexagons and then the grass terrain on the side. So I decided to make a bit of a edge of the city sort of park kind of theme. If you have a look at the note cards over here, it talks about some of the specific rules for the map. So we're playing Armory here. Obviously, these doors can be removed. If you hack the door open or open it with a specialist, just right-click it and delete it, and then move your models in there. Climbing Plus cannot be used on the walls of the Armory, which are infinitely high, but can be used anywhere else in the map. So it's just a bit lame when you've got like a Climbing Plus tag which comes way up the side and just climbs up an infinite amount. Or if you've got like a linked team of wolvers that go indoors and climb up all the way and throw grenades or whatever like that. We just don't really... It's very difficult to keep track of the measurements and where the models actually are positioned. You've got to use the gizmo a lot, and it's better just avoid that, in my opinion. Line of fire can be drawn into or out of the Armory room, but line of fire cannot be drawn from one side, that's through 2 doors, to the other. So what I'm getting at there is that if you happen to have opened all of the doors, and you've got, let's just grab some models just so I can demonstrate this. Let's say we've got Wild Bill over here, and we've got the Rajik with Spitfire over here. Normally you'd be able to see that line of sight drawn there, but we're just going to play it that you can't shoot through one door of the Armory and out the other door. However, once the Rajik tiptoes into the room, then you can see him. So basically the same way that I play the buildings, we're going to play the Armory in that same way on this particular map. Of course, if you want to agree with your opponent to do that differently for the actual other buildings, but hold true to these rules for the Armory itself, just check with your opponent for that. Now there's a little hill here. I'm going to start using hills. Oh shit, I'll just, I've accidentally unlocked the actual mat. I'm going to start using hills a little bit more frequently in my maps. Let's see if I can right click this and unlock it. So with the hill is taller than Silhouette too, so from this sort of situation, the Rajik's over there, Wild Bill cannot see the Rajik over the hill, right? To move on to the hill, you've basically just got to pick your miniature up and move it up there, and it'll just stay. If you try and put it on the slope, it may fall over, so you're not allowed to end your movement on the slope, but you are allowed to end your movement up here, okay? So you pick Wild Bill up, and he moves 4 inches, and he's on the hill. Now, because it's difficult terrain, if you don't have the mountain terrain rule, I'm going to call it difficult terrain here. Not very difficult terrain, just difficult terrain. So what will happen is you pick Wild Bill up, he'll actually stop as soon as he touches the hill. Then with your next short skill, you can move up there. Or you can simply wait and then move up there and shoot. I believe Wild Bill's stats is 6'2" speed though, so if Wild Bill personally is going up that hill, he's only ever going to be able to move 2 inches at a time, which is going to make it very difficult for him to get anywhere. Unfortunately, the line tool is measuring like a 3D diagonal there, I think, so let's see if we can just change that to 2D. Line, 3D or 2D? I think it's on 2D at the moment. Yeah, so that's a more accurate 2 inches, so Wild Bill can actually get onto the hill. Now, if you have multi-terrain or mountain terrain, you do get to ignore that. Over this side of the map, I had a little bit of trouble getting some of the assets in there, so I've replaced my massive rock here with a series of trees. Once again, we are saying that there is a line of sight blockage, so if Wild Bill's all the way over there, you can try and see him with the Rajik. I'm just going to say that all this bamboo and tree branches here just count as like a complete line of sight blocker. To see past that, you've essentially got to come through here and get line of sight that way. So it's a pretty open map, but I've also blocked off a lot of lines of fire. So there are ways to avoid the missile launchers and snipers and things. And don't forget, this Armory does block a lot, especially with the doors closed initially and with it being infinitely high, and with our rule that you can see into or out of but not through it. So that should be that. Now on my screen, everything's loaded up. When you load up the map, you may have some issues with some of these assets. For example, this tree, I think, still comes from a bit of a dodgy storage place, so some people may not be able to load that. But you should be able to load everything else. All the MAS stuff is new, and all of the basic, Kaldstrom assets and base TTS mod assets that we always use is fine. Of course, we've got a very important person up here on the statue, a likeness of Sun Ce, so enjoy that. Feel free to save this big render of the granite-looking Sun Ce for your maps if you want to. That is perfectly fine by me to use those assets. So enjoy round 2. Have some good games. Let me know if there are any problems. After this round, I may move some people to a different tier. So if you're just stuck at the bottom of tier 1 after your 2 matches and you're a little bit outclassed possibly, I may move you down to the tier 2 group. The person at the top of tier 2 finding it too easy, I might move them up to tier 1. Most of the movement will probably happen between tier 2 and tier 3 though, because I wasn't totally sure how much of a newbie some people are, or how experienced some of the newbies are. Some people deserve to be in tier 2 instead of tier 3 and vice versa, so we'll have a look at that, and of course talk to me if you feel that there should be a change, and hopefully we'll have a really good rest of our league. N4 is still a while off, so hopefully these games will keep us occupied until then. Alright guys, enjoy it.